The first video I made on this channel was talking about Acorns and Robo Advisors, and we'll throw that up on the screen right now.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name's Andy. Welcome to the first video on this channel.
And it's a big yikes. I've come a long way from making videos back then, but Robo Advisors were the big new thing back in 2018, 2019. And now we're going into 2023, and I wanted to talk about the current state of Robo Advisors. They're not for everyone, but there are definitely some people that could benefit from using them. I'm going to talk about some of the more common ones that we're finding out in the market right now, give my thoughts on them, and at the end of the video, I'll talk about my experience using them. I used Acorns for about 3 years, and I had some very positive and a couple negative experiences, and I wanted to talk about them in today's video. And to be 100% transparent, I do not have any links to any of these platforms that I'm talking about in today's video, and no one is paying me a dime. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to talk about my experiences and what I've learned, and I don't care about making $5 from having you sign up with a referral link, so you don't have to worry about any biases going along with that. So first off, what is a robo-advisor? It's a weird term that if you've never heard it before, you may be a little confused about it. So when a normal investor goes into the stock market, they have to pick specific stocks that they want to buy, and all of their decisions are 100% based off of them. Robo-advisors are set up in a way where it takes all of the guesswork and all of the decision-making out of your hands. And it's something where it has an algorithm, either based on preset portfolios that you can pick from, or it's something where you pick an idea and your money is invested into a diversified portfolio without you really having to worry about asset allocations or what type of stocks you're buying. So it's the idea of being a lot more hands-off with your investments while still getting exposure to the overall stock market. And this is a really positive thing. This is something that I used very early on, and it allowed me to learn a lot about the stock market, how it worked, and some of the investing psychology that goes along with it. So today we're going to talk about the first topic is going to be Acorns, the app that got me started in the first place. So Acorns, the reason that it brought me in is they did something called roundups. Now pretty much every checking or investing platform out there can do this, but it's the idea that you connect your debit or your credit card and it looks at your purchases and it rounds them up. And you can use multipliers to make them invest more and more money, but it's the idea if you have something that ends in, like you buy something for $1.95, those 5 cents are going to be added up, and at the end of the month, they're going to be invested into your portfolio. So there's small amounts of money that you're probably not going to notice a difference in, but it allows you to consistently invest in your portfolio without you having to think about it. And I think that not having to think about it is a huge part of investing that I've talked about, and why I think dollar cost averaging is so useful for newer investors, because it takes a lot of the decision-making process out of it. And that's why I got excited with Acorns for the first couple months that I was involved in the stock market. So besides that, they do have the robo-advisor aspect of it. And when you go into it and set up your portfolio, it asks what type of risk tolerance you're looking for. This is very important when you're looking at the stock market, because there's a variety of stocks, bonds, and treasury stuff that you can buy that's going to have different levels of returns and different levels of risk. So when you go in there, you get given 5 different options. You have a range from conservative to risky. Risky, while it seems kind of scary looking, is probably the place that I would put my money if I was going into it. And when I was involved with Acorns, this was the portfolio that I used. And it's not as risky as it sounds. You can go in there and see exactly what stocks and ETFs that they're buying in case you want to see some other people's opinions. So let's talk about the pros and cons of Acorns. The pros, it's going to allow you to invest more money than you were previously going to if you were just going out of your way and thinking, oh yeah, I want to hit the deposit button and put money in there right now. With the roundups and the ability to do reoccurring investments, I think is such a huge positive, and I would highly recommend anyone who's using an investing strategy to use reoccurring investments, because I think it's one of the best tools that we have out there. It allows you to put your money into the market and not have to pick individual stocks. This is something where for people just getting started, there are thousands and thousands of options out there, and this narrows it down to just 5 options, which I think is such a beneficial way of viewing the overall market. And when you're getting started, you're seeing your money move in real time, which I think is the most beneficial part about it. The investing psychology about seeing your money go down in value is so scary, but when you're involved with a relatively risk-averse portfolio, that money and that swing is going to be a lot less. So this means that your gains are going to be a lot lower than if you're investing in something like the SPY or QQQ, just these broad market ETFs. But also means that while the stock market is down, your portfolio is going to be going down a lot less than the overall market. So you get to see the positives of investing and some of the things that you have to deal with, whether it be the up and down motion of the market or just seeing your portfolio go down in value. It also has a lot of additional information on the platform that allows you to learn about investing and is going to allow you to transfer that information over to when you eventually decide to move away from it. And that goes along with some of the cons. This is not a platform you're going to use forever. It is very simple. It only has 5 different options that you can invest in. So it's not something that I would recommend people go into and expect to be there for the rest of their life. I made a video talking about why I would not use Acorns later, which is a retirement account that is set up through Acorns. Just the idea of this platform has not been around for a long time, and I would much rather have my money sitting in a trusted broker that's been around for 100 years as opposed to something that's only been around for a couple years. Another con has to do with some of the fees. Back when I signed up, there was the ability to sign up using a university email and you would get it for free, which was fantastic. You had no risk associated with it. Now it's $3 a month, which is going to be the same with the other platform we're going to talk about after this. And while that might not seem like a lot, that's going to be $36 a year for people that are likely not going to be investing very much money. So having a set dollar amount fee sounds really simple. A lot of other times you'll see a percentage fee, which is more fair when it comes to every type of person. Whether you're putting in $1 million or $1,000, that fee is going to be the same percentage overall. This $3 fee is going to be a lot more damaging to someone if your portfolio is under, say, like $200. Because $3 a month, that's going to start adding up over time, and it may outperform the potential gains that the market's going to have overall. So if you're just getting started, I may wait until you hit around $200 and are making sure that you're going to be putting in additional funds to try to recoup some of those losses, just so you're not losing all of your potential gains on the market to these fees that you're going to be paying every month. But once you're over a certain limit, that $3 a month, while it's not ideal, considering most of the brokers out there are not going to be having any fees associated with them, when you're just getting started, I think that $3 a month is a fine fee to pay. They also have recently added ESG investing, which is not something that I'd really heard of, but it stands for environmental, social, and governance investing, which are ways that you can invest that you're going to feel much better mentally about them. These are things that are going towards the future of the planet, so you're going with stuff that you actually believe in instead of investing in some of these corporations that maybe you don't 100% agree with what they're doing, so it does give you more options. Plus, they do have a Bitcoin ETF that was linked in March of 2022, but they limit on how much the ETF you can buy, making up a max of your portfolio of 5%. So these are some things that they've added in the year since I've left, but still, this is something that is going to be better off for the newer investor overall. Next, we're going to be going to Stash, which if I'm thinking about the trend of things, Acorns is a place that you're just going to be getting started with the market, you're learning a lot, then you may move your way over to Stash. Stash has 3 different types of accounts. You have the traditional brokerage accounts, which allows you to buy shares and fractional shares of companies that you love, kind of like a TD Ameritrade, a Charles Schwab, a Robinhood. So you have that opportunity. You have the retirement accounts, and then you do have the Robo Advisors, which are going to also cost $3 a month. But the difference between Stash and Acorns is that you have a lot more flexibility in the types of portfolios that you're going to be able to create. Instead of having just 5 portfolios to be able to pick from, you have a variety of themes that you can invest in. So you're not picking individual stocks. If I said, oh, you want consumer discretionary, okay, well, there's so many stocks out there, and if you're just on your own, you can pick between Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Costco, pretty much anything out there. But it's the idea of you're investing in themes, and it's a lot less specific than picking individual stocks. So you can go into your portfolio and see a variety of options of things that you can invest in, and then the portfolio itself will be able to be rebalanced by the Robo Advisor. So you go in and you say, I want exposure to technology, I want green energy, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and it'll build a portfolio based off of the percentage asset allocations that you've set up already. It's the idea that it gives you more flexibility to invest in things that you care about, as opposed to Acorns, where you only have 5 different options based off of the risk profile that you're more interested in. So it's a platform for someone who is more experienced with the stock market. They kind of have a general idea of the options out there, but they want to be more intentional with the stocks and industries that they're picking. This allows you to invest in stuff that you believe in, and allows you to get your money out of stuff that you don't believe in. So as someone like myself who is very focused on green energy stocks, I don't want my money going towards Chevron or these major gas companies. So in Stash, I can go in and invest in renewable energy and feel much better about the type of investments that I'm making. As I mentioned, you do have the ability to have a normal portfolio and pick stocks, but today we're talking about Robo Advisors. So with Robo Advisors and Stash, it gives you more flexibility than something like Acorns. So overall, I'll give Stash a 3 out of 5 as well. It's pretty good for what it's going to be doing, but I don't think this is going to be a long-term step. And when you compare the time that I would spend with Acorns versus Stash, Stash is going to be significantly less time. Acorns is great for people just getting started, and there's a lot of information to learn. Stash, once you kind of get used to investing in various sectors and types of companies, you can go in and probably pick the stocks that you want. So I don't see this as being a long-term solution. So I'll give it a 3 out of 5 as well. But when we look at these robo-advisors, things have changed a lot since when I first started making videos about Acorns a couple years ago. The best benefit of the new generation of investors is that we've had so many innovations when it comes to this space that things are changing rapidly. I've talked on this channel a lot about the benefits of Robinhood. Even though some people may have a lot of negative associations with the company, it has done a lot for the smaller investor, like getting rid of commissions. Now you see these Robo Advisors, which were very uncommon and pretty unorthodox a couple years ago, but now we're seeing a lot of the innovations that come from these apps and new startups getting bought in and linked with these major brokers. So a lot of the commission-free brokers have moved towards stuff like TD Ameritrade, Charles Schwab. We're not paying fees anymore. That's great. This also means that these large brokers are also having robo-advisors. So I went into TD Ameritrade and Charles Schwab, the two brokers that I used, and just looked to see what the options they have. Some of the wording, robo-advisors or auto-investing, may be a little different for every site, but from what it looks like, you have the ability to pick a robo-advisor with pretty much every brokerage out there. I just did a quick search, and I'll scroll down the screen right now and show you that pretty much everyone has that option. It makes it so that Acorns is probably the only option that I would consider at this point. The reason behind that, I think their education features are so beneficial for people that are just getting started in the stock market. Opening a major brokerage like a TD Ameritrade or a Charles Schwab is pretty intimidating, and they don't have the apps and infrastructure that something like an Acorns does for the younger investor that is a lot less experienced with the market conditions. I think that is such a huge positive for newer investors, is having accessibility and information someplace where they can learn and not feel overwhelmed. So right now, Acorns is the only one I would recommend. Stash is kind of something where if you're looking for an intermediary between Acorns and having a normal broker, I think that's fantastic, but I don't think it does anything exceptionally well, and that's why I've only used it for a couple months at a time, and I really didn't put that much time and effort into it, because I looked at it and I was like, I really don't know who's going to benefit the most from this. But so now let's talk about my overall experience using Acorns, because as I mentioned, this is something I used for around 2 or 3 years, and I think the way I used it was probably the best way that I could have possibly done it. When I first got started in the stock market, Acorns was the only place that I put money into. And the best thing, I'm going to make a video about this on my birthday. If you made it this far, my birthday is next week. It's crazy. But the best thing that happened to me is putting a small amount of money in there early and then watching it like a hawk. When you put your money into the stock market for the first time, you're probably going to obsessively watch to see it go up and down in value every day, because you've never had this happen before. You put your money into a bank and it just kind of sits there, and maybe you get like 2 cents of interest every month or something. Not a lot to write home about, but when you're invested in the stock market, your portfolio value can go up and down in value pretty significantly compared to interest rates. So one of the benefits that I had is I got invested with just a little bit of money with those roundups, just so I could have exposure to the overall market, and I could see how my money was going to be changing in real time. So by the time I started buying individual stocks, I was much more comfortable with the daily movement of the overall market. I use this more as a safety net and kind of like a bank and less like an investment account. This is not something that's going to go up in value significantly, but it's the idea of consistently adding to it without the thought needed to go in of, oh, I'm going to hit deposit and add more money to it. I used it more of as a safety net, where I had my $1,000 emergency fund sitting there, and it was going to go up and down in value a little bit. But most of the time, all of the value in there was coming from myself, and it wasn't going to be from the investment gain. So if I take it out, I'm not going to have this huge tax bill associated with it. And then I got to the point where I was wondering why I'm doing this anymore. I had started making YouTube videos for like 1.5 years at that point, and it's not something where I was viewing it as a good investment for the long term. So I decided to take my money out of it and put it into a different type of account that I'm going to be more comfortable with for the long term. So as I mentioned a couple times in this video, I don't think Acorns is something that you're going to set up and use it for life. I think it's a fantastic tool for people just getting started in the overall market and getting used to how everything moves, especially with those educational features out there. They're going to try to pull you in with those retirement accounts, because the way that you keep these younger investors involved is you put money in there that's going to be stuck there for a lifetime. Obviously, you can transfer it out there, and I'm kind of exaggerating, but retirement accounts have this long time horizon, and these Acorns accounts are going to be much smaller. So I'm very curious what your thoughts are on these Robo Advisors, and if you've considered using them, let me know in the comments down below. Have you used Acorns? Have you used Stash? Have you used one of these major brokers that have recently added these Robo Advisor features? Let me know in the comments down below. My name is Andy. If you'd like to see more videos from me, they'll pop up on screen right now. And if you'd like to hit subscribe, I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers by whoever knows. It's been like a year of sitting at 9,000 subscribers, and eventually I'm hopefully going to get over that hump. Not something I'm really focused on, but 90% of y'all are unsubscribed, so might as well hit that subscribe button if you made it this far. My name is Andy. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.